All right, we are now going to be entering Act 10. And Act 10, thankfully, will be the final act that we will complete for our journey here. And thankfully, Act 10 is not nearly as long as some of the other previous acts. We will go back to a more familiar kind of an area, but it will be a little bit faster. And today we will be completing our final um, Lord's Labyrinth that is required to do before you get to endgame maps. Okay, so we just landed in the Oriath area. We're on a boat, and we have Lily Roth and Waylon Roth here. And we're going to talk to them, get their quests here. Go talk to Lonnie down here. Talk to Sin. Diviana. Divinia is actually going to be like a mechanic for another quest. It's a different league mechanic, so we don't need to go to the Forbidden Sanctum because that's not really going to help our playthrough here. So we've got a waypoint. We've got some items. Let's sell some items here. We're going to go to Lonnie to sell some items. And remember, blue, green, red, socketed, and linked items will give us a chromatic orb. We've got a 5-link here that's also a red, blue, green linked and socketed, which will give us another chromatic orb. So just because it's a 5-link, because it's a 5-socket rather, but it still has the red, blue, and green linked, and that will always give us a chromatic orb. So don't sleep on something like this. Chromatic orbs are very, very useful. The hypnotic crimson stone, or crimson jewel rather, it seems pretty good for our build. It has a lot of benefits for holding a shield, but unfortunately I don't have a jewel socket, so I'm not really going to worry about that too much, so we're going to sell that one. And this quartz flask we ended up finding last video in Act 9, and it seems like it would be pretty good, but 25% of maximum life taken as chaos damage per second, and it lasts for 6 seconds. So I don't really want to use something like this because it's gonna, remove more health than I'm gonna gain. So not really necessary. We'll sell that as well, or we could stick this in our stash if we didn't want to worry about it. But we've got the chill and freeze there, so we can get rid of this. And we've got 2 essences. And now you can kind of see the difference between the essences. There's an essence like this that says upgrades a normal item to a rare item with 1 guaranteed property. So initially you have to have a normal item, and then you use this on the normal item in order to get the benefits. Or you use something like this. It says, oh, never mind. I'm sorry. They're both the same. Upgrades a normal item to a rare. Yeah, so they're both upgrading to a rare. But you can see this one here is going to be one-handed and two-handed weapons, and then other item. And other item is literally going to be anything that's not a one-handed item or a two-handed item, whereas this one here will give us a lot more options. It'll give us the gloves, the body armor, the shield, quiver, belt, other jewelry, etc. So do pay attention to the essences and what kind of benefits they give. You don't want to use something like this thinking that you're going to get lightning penetration on like a body armor, when instead it'll give you intelligence. So just keep that in mind moving forward when we're doing this. Okay, so we're going to start at the cathedral rooftop. Kill Lily. I'm not going to kill Lily, Jedi. I'm sorry. Not going to happen. Alright, so the very first start, we're going to... Luckily, we have an area right off to our left. It's going to be the Cathedral Apex. This is, if you remember in Act 5, this is where we went to fight Kitava. So we're kind of working backwards. We're going to start at the rooftop, and we're going to work our way down towards the bottom area. And then eventually we're going to come back to an area that is very similar to this, and we're going to kill Kitava for the final act. So we're going to walk in here, kill these guys here. We're going to save Bannon. We got to defeat Plague Wing, which is a gargoyle. Hey, what's up, Tony? How's it going? Alright, so we saved Bannon. We're going to talk to Bannon. We're going to meet him back at the docks. You can simply walk down here and then walk back over here, or you can use a portal scroll or something like that to make it a little bit faster, but it's not a big deal to me. Talk to Bannon. Talk to these guys here, get all of our quests. We're going to get a flask here. Cool. So, let's see. What do we want? I think we want Basalt Flasks to taunt nearby enemies. We don't really need our mana potion anymore, thankfully, because our mana regeneration is really strong. Let's ID this. Gains immunity to poison, but the only reason why we would really want to use this would be the 20% more armor. So when we use this, it'll give us 20% more armor. And we can take a look at how much that's going to give us. 3362 is what we're at. We're going to... Oh, we can't use the flask in town. Okay, well, we'll have to check afterwards. That's okay. Again, we're not going to talk to Divinia because she's another mechanic, a different league mechanic. All right, and now we're going to continue down towards the entrance of this rooftop here. Immortal Syndicate encounters. You might get this. It's... Oh my goodness. Was not ready for that at all. That's okay. It's another league mechanic. We don't really need to be interested in it. Obviously, that guy killed us, so we didn't really have much of a choice. Huh. So again, we're not really worrying about that league mechanic. We're just going to push right by it. Just need to watch out for these enemies. They do hit a little bit harder. We are in the final act, so there will be a couple of shenanigans that happen. Watch out for those guys that explode out of the statues. All right. Just keep moving down here. Don't need to kill every single enemy. It's okay if you want to. Like I mentioned in the first couple videos I made, I think I initially went through this game and killed every single enemy. Very inefficient, but it's okay if you're doing that. Not the end of the world. We're level 65. The level area requires 64. So we're right at the area that we're supposed to be. Physical resistance. As you can see, the last line of text there. So he's not going to take as much damage from our bleeding. Ambusher, don't need that. All right. Remember, we have our vulnerability curse to throw on enemies if they're too strong. This will increase the physical damage that they take. We don't need to worry about increasing the chance to bleed because our bleed is already 105%. So it's not very necessary to worry too much about that. This green little circle on the map right here, as you can see, it's a green little circle. If you walk over this area right here, it'll start. It's a different league mechanic. We're not going to worry about that because don't really want to go over it in this playthrough. Maybe after we're finished with Act 10 and we've started to kind of get into maps, we'll explain a little bit as to what the mechanics do. The previous league mechanics. But for the time being, we're just gonna run through here. Got another essences. Alright, cool. And we're going down to the Ravaged Square. Alright, so let's go north, east, and try to find the waypoint. Now, this area might look a little familiar. This was Act 5 when we first started. Oh. Battle Hammer's grayed out, so that means we get a green, blue, red socketed, which means we get a chromatic orb, which is wonderful. Alright, this guy will slow us down. That's alright. Keep progressing through here. And we can't get across there, so we'll have to find another way around. That's blocked, so let's go down this way and see if we can find a way around. And remember, before we kill the final boss, we're going to do our last act, or our last Lord's Labyrinth trial. And the reason for that is because we want to complete it before we take the minus 30 resistance hit. So, as before, when we killed Kitava the first time, we ended up getting a minus 30 to all of our resistances, and when we kill him a second time, we're going to get that same thing, minus 30 to all resistances. So we want to make sure that we do that labyrinth before we kill the last boss, so that we don't have to worry about those minus 30 resistances while we're in the Lord's Labyrinth. So it'll just make the Lord's Labyrinth harder. So let's see here. Alright, so let's jump into the ossuary. This is going to be our final Lord's Labyrinth. And we need to also find the Elixir of Allure. So this one here, looks like we're getting this one down here. And now our chance to block attack damage is almost at the cap. We're at 64, and I think 65 is the cap. Level up Pride Gem. Let's see how much armor we get by activating our Basalt Flask that we just picked up. And also our Granite Flask, which gives us flat armor. Let's take a look. We're at defense, we're at 3362, and I'm doing this one and this one. So I'm doing this flask and this flask. So let's see. First one is going to be Granite Flask, 66. 79. Wow. So it puts us almost... Wow, 79 is what it ends up giving us. So The Granite Flask plus the Basalt Flask puts us up to 7,900. And normally we're at 3,300. So we gain like a whopping 4,600 more armor just from using the 2 flasks, which is more than what we normally have, which is quite a large amount of armor. We're going to run through here. We're going to try to find the Elixir of Allure, like this right here. We're also going to try to complete the Lord's Labyrinth, the last part. Cobalt Jewel. Let's take a look and see if it's any good. No, not very good for what we're using. That's okay. Takes up 1 slot in our inventory, and we can sell it to the vendor. Orb of Alteration. We got a Forbidden Archive. I think this is where we need to go. Yeah. Huh. Maybe that's not the right one. Okay. Oh well. Let's keep going. Keep moving through here. Got an exclamation point. That's a good sign. Sealed chest. There's the Elixir of Allure. Nice. So we found the elixir. Now we're looking for the Lord's Labyrinth. Looking for the final trial in the labyrinth. Looks like it's not over here. Oh, maybe it's over. Oh, yeah, the book. Again, the book will tell us on the minimap that the Lord's Labyrinth is in here. So this is going to be the final Lord's Labyrinth. This is going to be the 12th Labyrinth. And we can see that, okay, we got to go through this door here, but we got to go around first. And a neat trick you can do is if you get parallel with this gate here, you can just hop there, and hop here, and do the lever. Do the same thing going backwards. Not get hit by these spikes that come out, and we gotta do the same thing on the other side. This is a little bit easier. Hit the lever there. Oh, okay, let's try this again. Let's jump there, and then we're done. So we've already done the tunnel for Act 9, and we've already done the ossuary. This is the final trial plaque for the Lord's Labyrinth. So now we have all 3 of the final trials completed. So that means sometime today we will go do the final labyrinth, and we will get our last ascendancy point. Or last 2 ascendancy points, rather. Okay, so let's head back out. Let's exit to character select screen. Go back to the, there we go, Wayland Roth will give us our respec book. We got 2 respec points there, which is great. Let us sell these items to Lonnie. Get 3 chromatic orbs. Remove our mana flask and the gem. And let's put these in here. And now we're going to head towards the Torched Courts. Now, if you remember, when we first were in this area in Act 5, I showed this little simplified map, and the same thing works, the same map works in Act 10. So we're going to come out of the ossuary. That's where we are right now. We need to go to the Torched Court, so that means we need to go to the right-hand side a little bit more. And then eventually we will have to go down to the Reliquary and get into the Reliquary. So just kind of follow this simplified map as sort of like your map to figure out where you need to go for the next area. So we're going to head to the Torched Court, which should be over this way. Huh. Not there. Maybe it's down this way. Huh. Okay. Maybe it's up this way. Okay, cool. All right, Torched Courts. There we go. So let's proceed through this area. I know last time we were here, there was a waypoint. Okay, it looks like the waypoint's destroyed. There's no waypoint here right now. And remember, we can always check to see if there's a waypoint in our area by mousing, pushing the letter U, and mousing over the name. And if there's a little blue circle next to the name of the area, that will give us an indicator as to if there is a waypoint here or not. Such as Ravage Square, it's got that blue circle next to the name. This one does not have it, so we know now that this area does not have a waypoint. So we don't need to worry about finding a waypoint in this area. And we're going to try to find the desecrated chambers. That's what we're looking for in this area. We're going to have to probably go down to the bottom of it. It's probably where it's located. Orb of Binding. Nice. Those are pretty nice. I think that's the first Orb of Binding I found. Yeah. It is. Alright. Running through here. Slapping those dudes. Orb of Transmutation. Remember, the blue circle will siphon mana, but because we regenerate mana a good bit, there's no need to worry about that right now. We have this mini loot goblin who's not as good as a loot goblin. He's a loot ghost compared to a loot goblin. Let's see here. Enrages as life lost. Wraith Axe and Val Greatsword. Let's take a look at the Wraith Axe. So not better than what we're using. What we're using is really nice. It's got the extra physical damage and attack speed. And that's just a very all-around, it's a good weapon that we currently picked up. That's what we're going to be looking for is percent physical damage increase, flat damage, attack speed, and bleed chance as well. Or bleed damage. Whoop. Got stuck in the wall there. Alright, let's keep moving through here. Nothing here. Let's go this way. See if we can find it. Oh, alright. Two stone rings. Two different two stone rings. Alright, nothing here. We're trying to find the desecrated chambers. Looks like it's going to be towards the left area. Alright, this is it. Yay! Found it. Desecrated chambers. Alright, so let's get this waypoint here. And let's move through here. We're going to try to find the Chambers of Innocence. And this layout design is going to be very similar to the one we had in Act 5. As you can tell, it's kind of reusing a lot of the old areas. But that's okay, because if we remember kind of where the location is, we can utilize that and get there a lot faster. Not have to really worry about it. Let's see, steel scale boots. Let's see if they have move speed. They do, but no chaos resistance. And as I mentioned before, we want chaos resistance on our items. That'll really help us moving forward. All right. 16 Orb of Alteration Shards. Wow. So things can drop in 4. They can drop in times 4. They can also drop in times 16. So that's kind of cool that we can get more than just one item in one drop. All right, we leveled up there. Cool. Let us use this passive, and I can't remember exactly where I needed to go, so let's head to our build guide here. Let's take a look. So I want to say that we're done with this area. Let's double check. Let's see, we have that, we have that, we have that, we have that, and we have all that. So it looks like we are. Looks like we're done with what we need to put in points here. So let's go to the next one. We're going to click this bottom down here. We're going to select third ascendancy plus block cap. And then we're going to go to level 75 early maps. And this will give us a new branching point. This will tell us to go down this way. So let's go down this way and get the Mana Mastery, which is... See, it's right next to this basic jewel socket. So right next to that one, we're going to get this here. We get with that one, and then the middle one. Okay, so let's get this one here. Then we get this one, and then we get the middle one. Okay. Cool. Again, we have another league mechanic upcoming in front of us that we don't need to worry about. We don't need to worry about this league mechanic. Does not affect our playthrough. If you want to do it, you're more than welcome to. But as mentioned prior, I'm not going to do any of the league mechanics because it's just going to take more time. And don't worry if you're not activating your flasks. Like if you can't remember to click them when you're running around, eventually we will get to a point where the mechanics themselves will be done for us. It'll be automated, so we don't have to really worry too much about pushing them. All right, so this is another really good item here, an amethyst ring. Amethyst rings will always implicitly have chaos resistance on them. So it's a good idea to start trying to siphon amethyst rings into our ring slots while still keeping the same amount of resistances we have. And that's going to be one of the only ways that we're going to get our chaos resistance up a little bit higher. Obviously, right now, we are above our caps for resistances. You can see that over on the right, it's the uncapped resistance we have, and if the uncapped does not match the normal, that means that you're at your cap. But after we finish this act and kill Kitava, we're going to be down another 30%. So it would be a good idea to get about 107 or 109% total resistance. That way, when we take the hit, we don't have to worry about our resistances. We know that they're already at cap. But take a look at this. All right, not very good. If it were a yellow item, a rare item, it could potentially be good, but it's not really what we're looking for right now. So we found the Sanctum of Innocence. That's what we wanted. Oh. Sorry, we're in the Desecrated Chambers. I initially said let's look for the Desecrated Chambers, but we're inside of them. Alright, Sanctum of Innocence. We're going to kill Avarius the Reassembled. Same way as before, we'll just walk around, let the bleed do all the work. If we're getting damaged, we just use our healing potions to heal. And there we go. Got the Staff of Purity. We got a Spider Silk Robe. Let's see. Spell Totem. It gives us a lot of spell damage, energy, totem life. Yeah, probably not good for what we're doing. And doesn't look like it's very good so far. There's a post for one alch, and it was posted 13 days ago, and it hasn't sold. So chances are this item is not that good. So let's just drop it and move on. So we're going to go out of that. We're going to hit the waypoint, and we're going to go back to the Oriath docks. We have Bannon to talk to. And Lonnie to talk to. Oops. Let's see. 3 red. This could be good. Let's try this one. This has got all armor. You can see that by it showing requires 177 strength. That lets us know that it is only an armor piece, and the chances of it getting a green or blue are going to be a rare chance. Let's see. So it only has 1 resistance set. It's got a lot more life. It's got some strength and some armor. And the armor that it has is more than the armor that we have, but it doesn't give cold and lightning resistance, and we need our cold and we need our lightning resistance. So probably going to hold off on this, even though it's a Ford link. We're not going to do that. We can actually sell it and get a chromatic orb because it's a green, blue, and red linked item. And green, blue, and red socketed colors. And that'll always give us a chromatic orb. So let's sell that. Let's also sell this ring. Don't need that ring. Talk to Innocence. All right.
Yes.
All right. And then now we will... Let's see... Let's head back to the Ravaged Square, and we're going to go to the control blocks. And the control blocks are going to be essentially right down here in the center. So at the very bottom of the area plus the middle of the area is where the control blocks are going to be. So we're going to go down this way. Remember, we can't pass through that way. Got to go over this. Whoops! Got to go over this bridge. once we get into the main square, now we're in the main square. Gonna head down in the middle of the area. We're gonna try to find the control blocks. So we'll be down here. Cool. And we're at the control blocks. Wonderful. So in the control blocks, we want to find Vilenta, and we're gonna kill Vilenta, and then we're gonna get a skill book, and then after we get that skill book, we're going to do the third Labyrinth. And if you remember in Act 5, we got the miasmator. There was a little specific area that we went behind a couple of crates, and the miasmator was there. It's going to be in that same kind of location. So it's going to be at the furthest end of the area from where we're spawning at, which is okay. This guy explodes corpses, so that could be kind of dangerous. All right. Heading down this way, and remember, if let's see. This is another league mechanic. We don't need to worry about this, but try to kill them if you can. We won't do anything more with it. Just know that now they're defeated. And remember, with these little openings here in the gates, you can jump through them, so we can use that to our advantage. Right, just keep moving through here. Killing these enemies when they spawn. I think the miasmator was up here, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken, though. Wouldn't be the first time. Ball hatchet. That sounds like an axe. So let's pick that up and see if we get something better. Take a look. Oh, jeez. Give me some peace and quiet, please. Thank you. Alright, 39 to 109, not as good. Although this would be a good pickup if we didn't have the axe that we currently have. So, not going to be what we need. And remember, the gray, red, green, blue linked item will always give us a chromatic orb, so we do want to pick those up. Huh, okay, so it's not down this way. I thought it was. Oh well. We'll keep going up this way. I think this is where we're supposed to get... Yeah, okay, cool. So this is where the miasmator was. Remember, we went around here and we found the miasmator right here in this area. So it's the same looking area, but instead we're going to go in this door here into the arena. We're going to fight another mini-boss, Vilenta. Pretty simple boss here. Couple of ads that spawn. All right. We killed that boss there. That's great. Now we need to go back to... let's go back to town. Speak with Lonnie. Get a book of skill.
You return
Got a book of skill there. Nice.
for freedom.
There'll be time for that
And
soon.
we're going to... let's see. Okay, so we're done with all of this. And we're gonna... okay, that's right. We're gonna go down there. So that's right. We went there. We're gonna go here. And this gives us more mana, increases our maximum mana, and gives us a 10% increased effect of non-curse auras from your skills on enemies. So something like Pride is a non-curse skill that affects enemies. So it's going to get a 10% bonus to it, which is going to be really nice. All right, now we are at the kind of like the halfway point of this run. We have a couple areas we can go to. The teardrop. We have an end to hunger, and then we've got the Lord's Labyrinth. So we just finished with getting our final labyrinth finished here, the waypoint or the trial. So we're gonna go to the aspirants plaza, and now we're gonna click on the Merciless Labyrinth, and that's gonna be able to send us towards the final labyrinth here. And as before, we can always check to see where we need to go by clicking on these current locations, and you can see that there's only one pathway. So we're going to look for that one pathway. And remember, don't be alarmed if your layout isn't the same as mine. The layouts do change every day. So just because yours might have 2 entrances or something like that, don't be alarmed. It's just the way the labyrinth goes. It will always change. So we're looking for this room here. Going back outside. Looking for an orange door. That's what we're looking for here. There's an orange door. Great. That's going to be the only entrance for us to go through. Right there. We're going to go into the sanatorium halls. And again, now we've got 2 locations to go to. Let's take a look, see if we can find both areas. And see which one will get us to the skull icon. So we can get to the boss faster. Again, you can go through these areas and do all these little intricate traps and areas if you'd like to, but it's not really necessary. You don't have to if you don't want to. Looks like that's just going to get us a curious lockbox. I don't really need the curious lockbox, so I'm not going to go through it. You're welcome to do it yourself if you'd like to, if you're doing this on the same layout. Although for me, in this playthrough, it's not going to be very efficient. It's going to take a lot more time to go through that. So here's another orange door. That's great. Huh. So that goes downwards. And I don't know what these dashed symbols are, but let's see if this next path takes us to where we need to go. So let's try to get away from this area here. Let's go down this way. Oof. Alright. Alright, nice. We found the next orange door. And remember, because the door's locked, the enemies can't open the door, but you can still attack enemies through the door. So, good idea to clear out all those enemies there before you open the door. That way they don't attack you. And then while enemies are dead, you open the door and kill this guy here. Alright, cool. So that's the skull that we wanted to go to. For future, it'll always be labeled as the Aspirant's Trial. The Aspirant's Trial will always be the location we're looking to go to. So, because we ended up just exploring another pathway, we ended up finding the route that we needed to take. Otherwise, if we went in that previous door, we had the option of going backwards one or forwards one. And thankfully, we don't want to go backwards. So, make sure you get the crafting recipe right here. We're going to open the door, go through the door there. And remember, this guy will have a couple of different attacks, but the first part should be pretty simple. Let our bleed do all the damage. As you can see, his health is dropping very quickly. Alright, and that's the first trial over. We're going to try to find the second trial now. Again, click the current location. It'll tell you, okay, we've got one door that we need to go through. So we got to find this one door. Let's run around and try to find this next door. Oh, we had something drop. What was... Oh, something dropped. Jeweler's Orb. Cool. And the only reason why I knew something dropped was because I heard a sound. An echoing sound. And that gave me a good indicator that something behind me had dropped. Okay, looks like this is maybe... Let's see what this does. Where this goes. Sometimes these areas will lead you to another door. Okay, see? Like this. We're looking for one orange door, and this is the orange door we're looking for. Huh. Gold door, gold key. So it looks like we'll have to go through this way because this is the only passageway for it. So let's head in here. And again, we've got another 2 locations. So if it's anything like the previous one, it should be this one, this top entrance here. So let's look for that top entrance. And if that isn't it, then we'll look for the bottom entrance and see if that is the correct way to go. Again, these labyrinths, because they're the Merciless lab, it will be a lot bigger. It'll be a lot longer. And it'll have more traps, and it'll be more confusing. So just realize that, you know, being in the first one, it won't be that easy. You will have to do some sort of fidangling in order to understand where everything's at. Okay, so it looks like there's a gold key there, but there's a locked door right here. So most times we will have to open the golden chest to get the golden key, and then the golden key will basically give us 2 entrances, and we'll have to choose which entrance we want to go into. And dependent on what entrance we go into means that, you know, the previous entrance is unavailable to go into it. So I'll show you what I mean when we get there. But we'll basically have 2 options to choose from, and it's like door A and door B, and if we choose door A, then door B is locked. and we'll have to find another way around. But looks like that's not the way to go. Looks like this way over here. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I was correct in thinking that this was the next way. So see, we have 2 golden doors. We can't see past them. So I'll have to choose one. And because of the late great Jedi Pokey, we're going to go left. Because he always goes left. So let's choose the left door. And it really doesn't matter which one you choose. It just depends on where you'll be ending up next. So, wonderful. And that led to where we needed to go. If we would have chosen the other door, it would have sent us down here. And then we would have had to find another entrance to go to the Aspirant's Plaza or the Aspirant's Trial. But because we chose the right one, and it's really just a guess at this point which one leads to where because we're unsure. Luckily, we found the correct option. We're going to enter this area here. Again, be careful about this enemy. If he does kill you, we will have to redo the Labyrinth over. Thankfully, though, the Labyrinth is the same layout for the same day. So you could do this layout or this Labyrinth 3 times in a row, and every time that you do it today will be the exact same. But the moment you switch to another day, it'll be a different layout. So do realize that. All right. We need one more Aspirant Trial to get to, and we have 2 locations to go to. So let's take a look at, see which ones go where. Because we don't want to go through an unnecessary 2 or 3 more doors in order to get to where we need to go. So here's a door here. All right, that's a silver cache. And I'm guessing this one up here is going to be a silver key. Because that's what they sometimes do. They have one door that's a cache and one door that's a key. So you have to go through 3 doors in order to get the cache. And basically the cache will just provide you with more items, more currency. It'll be a way for you to increase the power of your character if you want to. But for the purposes of this video, we will not be trying to get the silver keys. Maybe in a different playthrough we'll do that, but for now, not really necessary. Lever there. Lever there. All these levers and locked doors, man. All right. Great. And this is another silver cache. So we've got 2 silver caches. It doesn't matter which one we go into because they are mirrored. As you can see, if we go into this one, there's 2 pathways. And if we go into the bottom one, there's 2 pathways. So we'll just end up going in this one because we're closer to it. And again, 2 pathways there, 2 pathways there. It looks like this will be the exit, the final trial, but this one could be as well. So let's take a look again and see which way we're going. We don't want to go backwards unless we're getting some good loot. Gonna hug this outside wall. Okay, so that goes to the silver key. So we don't want to go there because then we're gonna have to come back to here and then go outside again. So let's look for that final door in this area. Huh. Looks like that's an area to go to, but we can't get through that way, so we'll have to probably go up this way to find an entrance. Okay, right here. Cool. There's an entrance here. We're looking for an orange door, like we always are. There's the orange door, and there's the Aspirant's Trial. And again, that's the final door to enter. So let's enter this door.
An aspirant can afford to be
Now we will face off against the final. Now we have some spinning blades as well as spikes, and the spikes only activate if you walk over them. So do realize that. If you're going to walk over these, make sure you just walk forward.
You are relentless.
Make sure we're hitting Azario. Awesome.
Is more dangerous than the journey.
These guys can still kill you, and you still have to redo the trial if you die, so. Let's see. Nothing very good. Gladiator play. Okay, not a big deal. Let's just run through, get our ascendancy points, and use our 3 keys. Got that. Chromatic orb, boots. Let's see what the boots are. Give us good lightning resistance. They give us good movement speed. They regenerate life, give us a good amount of strength, and some armor. But there's no chaos resistance, which we need, so we're not going to worry about those here. A divine font. So last time we sacrificed the gem for currency. We don't have any gems in here now, so let's just add 6% quality to a gem. And finding the gem that gives you the most benefit, you can hold Alt while mousing over the gems themselves, and you can see which one will give you possibly the best one. So, something like Holding Strike might be good, where we recover life. Increased attack speed for faster attacks. Leap Slam, not that good. Steel Skin. I've already done some on melee physical damage support, so let's just continue that. Add 6% quality to a gem. Hit craft. And it gives us 6%. So now we deal another 4% increased melee damage with our Lacerate. And we're going to get our final 2 ascendancy points. Now, remember, up here it says 2 ascendancy points left. We're going to go into this build here. And we're going to look to see. We had previously gotten this one, so now we're going to get Determined Survivor. Go up and get Determined Survivor. So we've got our 2 points. We're going to hit this one and this one for Determined Survivor. And this gives us a 50% chance to block from equipped shield instead of the shield's value. Inherent bonuses from Dual Wield are doubled. Doesn't mean too much. It's just a 50% chance to block from equipped shield instead of the shield's value. So that will bring our chance to block attack damage well above the cap. And we get more chance to block spell damage because we get for every 1% over the value, because of this talent here. 1% chance to block attack damage. Whoops. Sorry, which one is it? This one. Sorry. So this gives us a +2 chance to block spell damage for each 1% over cap chance to block attack damage. So because we're at 93, which is about a 30, it's a what? 27, 28%? It's not exactly 30. We get that gets doubled. So 56 28% chance is what we get when we to block spell damage. Oh, sorry, my face is in the way. Let me remove this. So our chance to block attack damage is 65, but we have a total chance to block attack damage at 93. And because we have 93, which is 28 over the cap resistance or the cap total, it gives us 56 because of this notable here. This gives us a 2% chance to block spell damage for each 1% overcapped chance to block attack damage. So now we have a higher chance to block spell damage, which is great. And in this game, blocked attacks do 0 damage. There's not like in Last Epoch there's block chance and then block effectiveness. And block effectiveness in Last Epoch will give you how much damage is reduced on that block. In Path of Exile, when you block a attack or block spell damage, you'll take 0 damage from it. So blocked is a very good mechanic to have. It's another layer of defense along with getting armor, getting evasion shield, getting energy shield, etc. So we're finished with our final Labyrinth, which is wonderful. Now we can head into the Ravaged Square, go up to Innocence, and now we can finally fight the final boss. So let's go into the Ravaged Square. We're going to head upwards until we find Innocence, which is right here. We're going to have to kill Kitava a second time. Go through the canals.
I don't suppose there's time to convince Innocence to put some clothes on for this battle.
Again, we've got some mechanics here, some league mechanics that we don't need to worry about. Carnal Boots, we'll see if we get any magic resist. Some chaos res, but no movement speed. Not magic resist. Okay. So, for this, which one do we get for the mana mastery? I can't remember. Let's take a look. It wants us to get 12% increased mana reservation efficacy of skills. Okay, so this is a good little teaching moment. We can see that our Pride gives us 50% mana reservation. When we take this skill to give us 12% increased mana reservation efficacy of skills, instead of having 50, we're going to have 44.64. So it takes 12% of 50, and that number that we get, it subtracts that number that we get from 50, and we get a total of 44.64, as well as Clarity. Clarity got reduced mana reservation as well. It's a 12%. So now we have more mana to spend on skills because our reservation efficacy is lower. And a good indicator as to if an item is good or not is if it has mana reservation efficacy. So sometimes people in game will link an item and it will be worth a ton of currency, and the reason why it is worth a good bit of currency is because it has mana reservation efficacy on the item. Items in Path of Exile can roll with that stat on it, and that basically means you can use more auras. The more mana reservation efficacy you get, the better off your character will be, because you'll have more opportunities to get more auras. And the more auras you get, the better your character and stronger your character will be. So keep that in mind when you're looking at items. Jewels, for example. I know we've gone over jewels a couple of times in our previous videos, but jewels are a large reason why things will be so expensive. And that's because you can get mana reservation efficacy, which lowers the total maximum amount of mana that is reserved for an aura. And that will allow you to add more auras to your character. And those auras you add will also be impacted by the mana reservation efficacy. Alright, we're running through this way. We're trying to find... we're in the canals. We're trying to find the feeding trough. That's where we're going. We got another league mechanic that we don't need to worry about. Let's see, is this the feeding trough? This is the feeding trough. Cool. So we're almost to the very end of the act. And one really cool thing about this act is, in this area specifically, we can see Kitava's footprints on the ground. So right here, you can see these footprints right here that I'm standing on. This footprint right here and this one right here. This kind of gives you a visual representation on how big this guy is. So my body doesn't even fill up this footprint, which is actually kind of cool. You can kind of see it all over the map. He's been walking all over this area here. Kind of makes it a little bit spookier. Alright, so we're going to be trying to find Sin. He's going to be an exclamation point item. We're also going to be trying to find the Altar of Hunger, which is where Kitava is located. And I'll try to do my best to describe the fight, although there will be a lot happening. So I might not be describing it as I probably should. But there is a nice video out there that will sort of demonstrate. Maybe we can find it and show it beforehand. Give us a little bit of help to figure out, because there are telegraphed attacks. There are different phases to the fight. So do be aware that going into it blind, you might end up dying a couple of times, and if you've been playing on a hardcore and you've gotten this far, it would be a real shame to get to this encounter, not know what to do, and end up dying because of some mechanics. So that happened to me a couple of times on hardcore, and it was really disappointing. So this is Sin. There's the Altar of Hunger, and last but not least, we are going to start to fight Kitava. Now, let's see. So, let's not watch the video just for the sake of this video here. And we got 4 phases. So, the first phase is going to be without grabbing onto these guys. The second phase will be him grabbing one of these guys here. And the reason why my health is degenning is because I'm in this pool area here. So there's the first phase finished. He's going to grab one of these guys. Grab Sin, and now we just have Innocence. We'll get these monsters that spawn. He'll swipe across the arena. He'll do his degen. And there's the second part. You can see up here, he lets go of Sin. All right, now we go into the third phase where the heart comes out. Whoa. And again, remember, if you run out of health potions, you can always teleport back to the town. Your potions will be refilled. And then we can hop back in with this health still at the same. And we have full potions now. So, very neat trick to do if you're running low on health potions. Or if you end up dying and you're not sure why you're dying. It's a good indicator, a good reason why. Ooh. Alright, so this Flame Breath, he will go across the entire arena, except for the opposite end. And we have Kitava almost dead here. The heart will come out. And there we go. And that's the final one. Let's get Steelhead. Oh, we don't have enough space for it. That's okay. So now we have been permanently weakened by Kitava's Merciless Affliction. You now have a total of -60 to all resistances. So this was the original reason why we ended up doing the trial, the Lord's Labyrinth, before doing this boss. And that's because we're under our maximum resistances now because of that. So do keep that in mind. There is a reason for why we do that. Don't need that. Let's pick up Steelhead, see what this does. Huh. Let's see. Weapons you animate, create an additional copy. So we don't need that, but having a Jeweler Orb would be really nice. So let's remove this because we don't need that. And we're going to get a Jeweler's Orb because it's a 6-socketed item. And that's better than what we would normally get. So it says the epilogue is now unlocked. Oriath docks. This will lead us into the epilogue, which will start the endgame.